Hi, this is Mr. Ward, and I'm going to do a short video on the Do Now 17.1 for algebra. So here we go. What is the slope of a line that goes to the points 3, 2, and 10, 30? Well, here's how you would work that out. We're going to get the change in y over the change in x. So I need to pick one of these y values. So I've got 2 and I've got 30. And I need to start a subtraction problem. I'm going to start with 30. I'm going to do 30, and then I'll subtract 2 from that, and that'll tell me how far above 2 is, how far above 2 30 is. Okay, so 30 minus 2. And then I'm going to get the change in x in the denominator. Now, since I did 30 minus 2, I need to do 10 minus 3. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with the opposite sign, like Jimbo sometimes does. So 10 minus 3. And when I work all that out, I end up with 28 over 7. And 28 over 7 can be reduced to simply 4. So I end up with a slope of 4 because 28 over 7 equals 4 over 1, which equals 4. And it is okay to go ahead and take a 4 over 1 and turn it into 4. In fact, I would recommend it. Okay, so now in the last question, hopefully you got a slope of 4. And since 30 minus 2 over 10 minus 3 equals 28 over 7 equals 4 over 1 equals 4. Now, since the slope-intercept form equation could be written as y equals 4x plus b, where 4 is the y-intercept, what would the y-intercept have to be for this line to contain these points, 3, 2, and 10, 30? Okay, well, so we've got y equals, it's going to have to be 4 because that's the slope, 4 times x. X is going to be quadrupled every step of the way to get us y. But when I've got x is 3, 3 times 4 is 12, and that does not get me 2. Okay, and 4 times 10 is 40. That does not get me 30. Well, that's okay. I've got a couple ways I can do it. I could just work it out and say, okay, well, 3 times 4 is 12, I'm sorry. And how do I get from 12 to 2? Well, I'd subtract 10. Or I could do it this way. I could say 10 times 4 is 40. How do I get to 30 from 40? I would subtract 10. So it might be a minus 10, of course. So that's one way we could do it. And then there's another way we could do it. We can just say, y equals this 4x plus b, where b is the y-intercept. And then we can scroll up a little bit and give myself some more room. Then we can actually take one of those xy points and plug it in and solve for b. So if y is 2, I can say 2 equals 4 times the x value of 3 plus b. And now I can use my basic equation tools from way back in equations level, I think 3 or 2. I think this was probably 3. This is a two-step equation. I think it was actually level 2. And then we just solve for b. So we figure out what this is. Okay, actually, this ends up being a one-step equation. So this is 12. So we've got 12 plus b equals 2. And then we simply subtract 12 from both sides. So minus 12 and minus 12. And when we do that, we end up with b, the y-intercept, has to equal 2 minus 12, which is negative. Oh my goodness, that is silly writing that's happening there. Try that again. Is going to equal negative 10. So the y-intercept will be negative 10. And so here we go. Our answer is, and this would have worked with the other point too. But the answer is going to be y equals 4x minus 10. And that's the equation that you would have. So I give you a follow-up so you can check how you did on that. And now let's take a look at the point-slope form equation for the next question. Now, some of you have already done work on the point-slope form, but I'm asking you to make sense of this. So we've got the point-slope form, which says y minus some y value from a point, we'll call this point 1, equals slope times the x minus some x value from that same point. So Jimbo tried to create a point-slope form equation using the points and the slope. And so here's what he did. So you notice the slope was 4. And so he put the 4 in there where slope goes. Okay, so all right, so he put in a 4 here. There's the 4. And then he said y minus 2. Okay, and he's got the points 3, 2. If you recall, we got points 3, 2. And we've also got the point 10, 30. Okay, so he says y minus 2 equals 4 times x minus 10. And then when he graphs it, it doesn't go through the point that he wanted. It doesn't go through 3, 2, or 10, 30. It doesn't do it. So what did he do wrong? Well, if you notice that he grabbed the y value from this point and the x value from this point, well, that is the problem. He needed to pick one point and stick with it. He either needed to pick that point or he needed to pick this point. So if he wanted to actually get the equation to work, he needed to do this. He needed to do y minus 2 equals 4 times x minus 3. Or he could have done it this way, y minus 30 equals 4 times x minus 10. And you might notice that the 3, 2 values, the 3 and 2 from the first point are right here in the equation. And here, 10 and 30 are in this equation. In fact, I'll show you that they both work on Desmos. So here we go, desmos.com/calculator. Okay, and if you are kind of doubting this, we've got, of course, our points 3, 2 and 10, 30. And 10, 30 is off the screen, but I can get it on the screen here. We'll zoom out a little bit. And there it is. And the line going through there is going to be pretty steep. So we'll make two equations. First we'll use the 3, 2 point. So y minus 2 equals the slope of 4 that we worked out times x minus 3. X minus 3. And that totally works. Put the parentheses at the end. Or I could have picked the other point, but I've got to stick with a point. Y minus 30, the y value, equals 4, still same slope, times x minus 10. And they both work. Both equations do the job. If you wanted to be fancy, we could, of course, be fancy. We can say, we can make an inequality for x. So from 3 to 10, we say 3 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 10. And there we have a line that just goes through just those two. All right, I am going to stop, and I hope this was helpful.